classified information. But already, dozens of members have signed this letter to the president saying, let me quote, while the ongoing human rights violations and continued loss of life are horrific, they should not draw us into an unwise war. Before weighing the use of military force, Congress must fully debate and consider the facts and every alternative. The woman who wrote that letter is Congresswoman Barbara Lee, California Democrat, who actually famously became the one no vote against the war in Afghanistan. The Congresswoman joins me now live from California. Nice to see you, Congresswoman. Welcome to the show. I know in a couple of hours, the president will be briefing you tonight. What would you like to hear from President Obama?
Well, let me first say thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you to discuss this. What we need to do, not only hearing from the president, but conducting a debate on the floor of Congress as it relates to the use of military force. As you said, the violations of human rights, the use of chemical weapons, we need to condemn this unequivocally. There is no place for this type of action against humanity. These are crimes against humanity. Mm-hmm. We cannot, however, be drawn into a regional conflict, which could happen, and more lives could be taken. You know, so before any military action is conducted by the United States, we need to have a full congressional debate. The people in our country deserve to hear the facts. They deserve to know how their tax dollars are going to be used. They deserve to know what the fallout, the implications, the ramifications are of such strikes. And, in fact, I believe that we need to provide those alternatives. There's got to be a negotiated settlement because there's no military solution, and I think history shows us that. And so we need to be very careful in how we exercise the use of military force.
On the subject of this debate that you would like to have happen in Congress, you were actually on the side with a number of Republicans. In fact, specifically Senator Rand Paul saying yesterday U.S., quote, has no clear national security connection to the war in Syria, also calling for debate. But the question is, and you talk about alternatives, negotiating, what is the biggest risk, in your opinion, if the U.S. does not act?
Let me say that the U.S. must act, but it does not necessarily mean act in a military capacity. We have to engage in a regional diplomatic effort. We need to make sure that we put all of the regional players in place to seek a negotiated settlement. The inspectors are still there. You know, when the Iraq war occurred, I offered a resolution that said, minimally, let's let the inspections process move forward before any action is considered. Well, I got 72 votes on that amendment. And so we need to come up with a strategy that makes sense, that does not create any more carnage, any more violence, and really try to move towards seeking a negotiated solution.
According to reports, the UN weapons inspectors will be out of country on Saturday, and I just hear this word negotiation, and we've seen the body after body. We've seen the carnage, as you describe it, in Damascus from this most recent attack. And I just have to ask, do you think that President al-Assad will negotiate?
Let me say, first of all, I think that we need to make sure we continue to engage with the United Nations. We need to make sure that the world community is with us in whatever actions that we take, and we need to isolate the Assad regime. We're smart enough and we know what to do and how to do this, but I really believe that military strikes, and I think the majority of the American people understand that a 3-day or a 2-day surgical strike may or may not work, but the potential of an outbreak of another war is very, very great. And so we need to do whatever it takes to mitigate against this and to save lives and to move towards some semblance of stability in the region. That does not allow for the use of military force, I do not believe, but minimally. The Congress should come back in session. We should debate this. We should look at the facts. And our commander-in-chief, of course, the president has a grave responsibility to act in the United States' national security interest. But Congress also has its constitutional responsibility and authority to debate matters when it comes to war and peace, and we should do that, and we should do that immediately.
Okay, Congresswoman Lee, we appreciate you, and we appreciate you sharing your perspective. I know many of your colleagues share the same. Thank you. And I want to talk Syria. I want to continue talking Syria here. Gloria Borger is our chief political analyst, and Jay Newton Small.